still recording. Here it is, guys. She's nice. She's a nice piece of art. This is like the ultimate show pony bike. Fuck. It's so quick. It's definitely faster in the higher rev range. Welcome back to another video. Today is another goodie. I'm here at Cycle Spot. I'm about to ride the Ducati V4 Streetfighter. Not the V4S, just the V4 2022, the brand new model. The Streetfighter V4 is kind of the opposition to my bike. Has a little bit more power than mine. Both V4 engines, both about 1100-ish cc's. Beauty. Nice having them both together. Let's start in street. Alright bro, see you soon. The weapon of Ducati. Let's get it. So this one has the same mirrors that I have, but he's got them, see on my one I have them low. Because of this reason, my hand kind of hits it. Just kind of a pain, especially this one. God, that's terrible. Alright, let's get this thing started. Factory exhaust. Bye bye Tuono. One of the things I noticed, like instantly jumping on this compared to my Tuono, is because this is an actual naked bike. My one is like a naked bike, but only not really half naked with a fairing. So this one feels way shorter because you have like the speedo there and then it just like drops off and there's nothing in front of you, so it feels like you're on a much smaller bike, and it does definitely feel more nimble than my Tuono for sure. Like definitely more flickable, just changes directions faster, but with that you don't get the same kind of stability that you do with my Tuono. Saying that, it's not like this bike is unstable, it's just a different feeling really. Slightly smoother quick shifter over my Tuono. My Tuono, I really enjoy the quick shifter of my Tuono because it's real angry, but the transition just feels a little bit smoother on this bike. Let's get this thing out on the motorway and see how it feels. No electronic suspension on this one. Fully adjustable and good suspension. Show us front forks, everything's fully adjustable, so I don't see that being a problem. Definitely don't get anywhere near the same heat off this bike as you do on the Panigale. If you guys watch my Panigale video, I'll put a link to that up in the right hand corner so you can check it out, but that bike is like literally riding an oil heater. I think the quick shifter on this just feels quicker. It's a quicker quick shifter. Oh, that mirrors. Wind-wise, this bike's not actually too bad. Like, it's a little bit more upright, just very slightly more comfortable than my bike. So, like, I'm not as far forward leaned over, which makes it really nice on the motorway. It's a little bit windy out today, not too bad, but I am, you know, because I'm just kind of like engulfed with the wind everywhere. I'm not getting any head bobbling or anything like that. So one thing this bike's missing is it doesn't have cruise control or a fuel gauge. I don't know, I don't really care. It would be nice to have cruise control. I'd rather have that than a fuel gauge if I had to pick one, but people complain a bit about not having a fuel gauge, and it doesn't bother me too much. It's obviously something my Tuono has both of, a fuel gauge and cruise control. Power wise they feel very similar actually. My Tuono feels a little bit more aggressive. Yeah, a little bit, it feels like it has a little bit more low down power, but this bike does not feel slow. They're both rapidly fast machines. Oh, that sound. Any V4 sound really, man, they sound so good. I used to have one of those VFR 400s, like a, I can't remember what they're called, NC30s or something, whatever. Just a little 400 V4, and even that sounded pretty rad. A Superleggera or something maybe. radars. Stay. I hope you guys can hear how this thing sounds. For a stock exhaust, these bikes sound so amazing. Alright. Let's check this thing in sport mode, I reckon. Mode. Hold it down. Sport. Race. Let's just go sport. Select. There we go, we're in sport mode. Right. Let's get some of these twisties going and then we'll have a walk around. It feels nice, don't get me wrong, it feels like an amazing bike, but it's not the same as the V4S. That V4S electronic suspension is crazy, it's so good. It's the same as what I have on my Tuono, and it's like some of the best suspension you can get. This just doesn't feel as aggressive as my Tuono. You know, it's not until you like get it up and out in the like real high rev range that you start feeling the lethal power of this thing. Yeah, this is like the ultimate show pony bike. Nice hydraulic clutch. It's so quick. My Tuono doesn't rev out as high as this, so you think you're at redline and you look down, you still got like 5,000 RPM to go. It's definitely faster in the higher rev range, whereas my Tuono feels faster in the low, like low to mid range. Tuono feels quicker, but once this thing gets singing, fuck, she's quick. Go back and do some more of those twisties. She loves it. Quick. It's definitely not as wheelie happy as my bike. By this, you're in the Ducati club. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But you just have that heritage, you know. You see a lot more of these on the road than you do Tuonos, because it's just not as big of a brand, you know. Ducati's got the brand name. I would assume that Ducati sells a shit ton more Streetfighters than Aprilia sells Tuonos, and that was one of the things I really liked about the Tuono, just having something a little bit more unique. Yeah, I just see a lot of these on the road, you know, and it's probably because they're an amazing bike, but to me, I'd prefer to have something a little bit less common. It's not quite as planted in the corner as my bike. It feels like the Tuono has a slightly longer wheelbase, which makes it less flickable, but more stable. Just something to consider. Vibrations through the bars, not like chunky vibes, but I'm not very good at describing shit. Just like really that high-pitched vibration that kind of makes your hands go numb after a while. I don't get that with my Tuono as I do with this. It's going to come down to like styling and the feel of the engine, and whether you want that like real top end power or, you know, a bit more low down power. I don't know, it's such a hard choice, and I own the Tuono. I'd still be stoked with this. I don't reckon you'd class either of these bikes as a commuting bike, but I reckon the Streetfighter would be a little bit better, apart from the slightly higher heat range. Although I have seen a video, I think it was from the Moto Million dude, saying that his, I could be remembering it wrong, but I'm pretty sure he said his Tuono felt hotter than his Streetfighter. But yeah, I'm definitely finding the opposite. I can't explain that, but yeah, I think this would be a better overall commuting bike if you you know, you can only have one motorcycle and you wanted it to be a super bike. Out of this or the Tuono, I think this would be a little bit better, just because it's slightly more upright, a little bit smoother quick shifter, a better turning circle, so it's a little bit easier to like weave in and out of traffic with this. I think that's a good way to sum it up, actually, that the main differences, apart from like styling and the sound difference, a big difference between these two motorcycles, this bike is just easier to handle in low speeds, and the Tuono is easier to handle at high speeds. Here it is, guys. She's nice. She's a nice piece of art. It does look way better with those bar end mirrors, but they are just super impractical where the guy has them. So this one was traded in, obviously. I don't think they're even installed right. I'm not too sure. I'll tell the guys to check that, but where he's got the bar end mirrors, it just like hits your gloves. I mean, I have massive hands, so you know, my gloves are like XXL. I just put them on the bottom like I have on my Tuono. Not as good as a viewing angle, but close enough. Love that beautiful single-sided swing arm on the Ducatis. Just such an amazing looking machine. I prefer the look of this bike overall, like just as like an angrier package. The front I could go with or without, and I do love the rear end on my bike. She's got a nice butt. I do really like this Panigale looking rear end. So, you know, got that fully adjustable suspension in the back as well as the front. Still nice big Brembo brakes. And obviously with this V4, you're just getting the grey Showa upside down forks, not the gold Öhlins, however you want to say it. I'd definitely be putting some radiator guards on it, and yeah, you've got those nice fins. Such a unique looking machine, you know. You can't mistake this bike for anything else. Whereas the Tuono isn't quite as like, unless you're like a hardcore motorcyclist, you know, all your life is about bikes. This thing, when you ride past, you know what it is, without a doubt. It's a Streetfighter. The Tuono doesn't stand out quite as much. It's not like, it just blends into the crowd a little bit more. It doesn't get quite as many looks as this bike. Kind of depends what you're after, and that's all subjective anyway. I mean, you can't, who cares what I think of how it looks, because it's totally subjective. Some people are going to love the look of this bike, some people are going to love the look of my Tuono. Really nice controls. You do have the black handlebars and an option for heated grips. This one doesn't have heated grips, but it's got the button, so you can like unlock it with a software update or something. Daylight running lamps there, high beam, hazard lights. I do not have a hazard light switch on my bike, which is kind of annoying, to be honest. And yeah, no cruise control or anything like that, so funny to say for a bike this price, but a little bit more, not as feature rich as the Tuono. Rider modes, you can customize them all as well. Actually, can you customize them? Okay, so that's one thing. So on my bike and the V4S, you can customize them. You can customize the rider modes to like have whatever you want, whereas this one doesn't seem like you can. There's no like user mode or anything, so I assume that's something you get when you get the V4S version. I do like that it has a key. I'm not a fan of key fobs. Having a hydraulic clutch is nice. Very busy looking engine on the side, on this side of it, with all these cables and things like that. Just part of being a naked bike, and it's a complicated motor, you know, it's a V4 engine, whereas usually this is all covered up by fairings on a Panigale, so you don't really see all of it. But yeah, there's just a lot going on. Whether you like that or not, again, is kind of up to you, but sick looking bike. Right, I'm going to jump back on it, do a little bit more riding, head back to Cycle Spot. If you guys want to check this bike out, like I said, it's at Cycle Spot on the North Shore. It's a bunch of dogs. Man, if those dogs took off, they wouldn't have a chance. I won't start it until they're a little bit further down. Angry. Let's head back before we run out of fuel. It feels lighter. Again, I don't know what the specs are, but you guys would know by now because I'd already put it up on the screen. But it does feel lighter than my Tuono. I would say this is probably, I don't know, a good 10 kilos lighter than my bike. Yeah. Just easier to throw around, easier at slow speed maneuvering. They both are stupid fast, and they both are super good. Remember, you know, I'm just comparing two of the best. But yeah, the Tuono is just, it just likes going faster. You know, it's just more stable at higher speeds. A little bit more planted in the corners at higher speeds. Man, suspension feels quite firm. I'm feeling all the little bumps more than I would usually. I don't know how they got this through Euro 5 with that exhaust on it, because it's quite angry, which is nice because the upgrade, you know, to get an Akropovic system on this is a lot of money. You know, not a lot of people after buying this bike are going to be able to afford to put a full system, let alone a slip on these. With these two bikes, I think like there's very little to pick wrong with these. I guess just pick the one you want and ride it, you know? Don't fuck around, just buy one. And I'm just rambling now. I'm gonna head home, edit this video and chuck it up for you guys. So thanks for watching. I doubt a lot of you have gotten to the end. If you've got to the end of this video, drop a comment below and let me know, so I know how many people are getting to the end. I've really enjoyed this bike. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.